Hello and welcome to this tutorial. In today's we're going to be taking a look at our koala based data set again. So far we've been able to determine how many female koalas were admitted to hospital between 2006-2017, and that comes from just one column. We've also been able to compare data from two different columns and get how many koalas were the victim of a dog attack versus how many koalas were a victim of being hit by a car. So we're going to continue that in this session, and we're going to be looking at the date that the koala was brought in, and what we want to do is want to see if there's any difference between the months. So were more koalas brought in April over the course of April 2007, April 2008, April 2009 and so on, compared to how many koalas were brought in September. So that's the sort of data that we're going to be looking at. If I look at it in detail here, you can see that there are so many dates. In fact, there's about 39,000 of them, that it would be incredibly difficult for me to look at all that data as numbers and work out which month is more likely to see koalas coming in and which month is more likely to see a lack of koalas coming in. This is where the power of products like Excel can really help us to look at large data sets. We're going to create a formula which starts at A2, so here, and it goes all the way through to whatever the end is. Now, to find the end very quickly, I know it's around 39,900, so if I type in here A 39,900, it takes me to very near the end of the spreadsheet or the data set. It's just a quick way to navigate around rather than scrolling down through 39,900 different records. So we're going to end here and we're going to start at A2 because A1 has just got the column headings in it. I'm going to create a new sheet. My new sheet is going to be called monthly admittance, and I'm going to start putting my data into this. So in monthly admittances, my question is how many koalas were brought to hospital each month. So I need to put each month in. I'll start with January, and then I could type February, and then March, and then April. Or I could be a little bit lazy about it, or a little bit clever about it, and I could just choose the little green square, drag down, and now I have all of my months in a quick way. And I'll just expand it out a little bit. In this second column, I'm going to have the numbers of koalas. So I need to start putting my formula in. Now, at the start, you might think the formula is pretty difficult, but I'll explain it after I've typed it in. Then we can proceed from there. So I'll do the formula for January first, and all formulas, remember, start with an equals. So it's going to be equals, and what I want to use is a built-in function called SumProduct. SumProduct will allow me to go through an array or a list of values, a column if you like, and it will sum up or add together and then total the number of times an item exists. So my SumProduct is going to be followed by two minus signs, and what these minus signs will do, how they work, I'll explain in a moment. They don't have to be minus signs. I could have one and then a multiplied by sign, which will have the same effect. So I'll start with two minus signs, and then what I want to look at is I want to look at the month. The month that I want to look at is going to be housed in, and if I go to KoalaBase 2017 and click this column, notice KoalaBase 2017 and the exclamation mark comes up, and it's A2 to what's housed in our memory, 39,907. So the month KoalaBase, search KoalaBase for that. I'm going to continue my formula by saying equals 1 and then I'm going to close my parentheses, and you can see that a number appears. Now, it may have confused you a little bit as to what this is doing, but I'll try and explain it to you. In our koala base, we have dates ranging from A2 down to A39,907. So it looks at that range of cells in that worksheet. That much is fairly straightforward. And then what it's looking for is it's looking for the month being equal to 1. So the month being equal to January. If I look back at my koala base, I can see that it will find this one and this one and this one, but it won't find this one because the month there isn't 01, it's 02. But there are others for each of the years, so it needs to go through and find every occurrence of 01. In other words, every occurrence of January. Look at the month. If it's equal to 1 or it's equal to January, and we're looking within this range, then I want you to sum those together. Now the last part of my formula is this minus minus, and it's not actually minusing, but what it's doing is it is telling the spreadsheet to take a look at this, and if it's true that the month is 01, then change that true into a number, a 1 or a 0. So it'll change it into a 1 there, it'll change it into a 1 there, it will change it into a 0 there. So reading it from inside out, what it does is it looks at this range of cells. It's looking for the month to be 1, equal to 1, or January, and then it is saying, if it is January, change the true, the fact that it's found January, into a number that you can sum together, and so it will use that to allow the sum product function to add up all the Januaries. So with that in mind, February, and if I use this little down arrow, I can copy my formula, and this time February I want it to be, instead of 1, I want it to be 2, 2 meaning February, and notice it gives me a different number. And I could continue this on through all of them. Make this one equal to March, which is 3, make this one equal to 4, which is April, and so on. And you can see I get different numbers, but the problem is, and maybe you've noticed this, if I look at the formula for January, my range is A2 to A39,907, which is accurate. If I look at February, notice it's changed to A3 and 39,908. If I go to March, it starts at A4. I don't want it to start at A4, I still want it to start at A2. And I certainly don't want it to go to 39,909 because there is no data in that. And if I go all the way through to December, you can see that it starts at A13 and changes to A39,918, which is, if I go to 39,918, you can see that there's nothing there. What's going on? Well, when I replicate my formula down, that is, drag it down, it starts here, and what Excel tries to do is it says, well, I'm going to replicate down, but as I move down, I'm going to change this A2 to an A3, and then I'm going to change it to an A4 and an A5. I don't want that to happen. I want it to always be A2, and I want it to always be A39,907. So when it changes, it's called relative replication. It changes relative to the new location where the cell is. I want it to stay the same, so I want it to be absolute. I want it to always be A2 and always be A39,907, So to do that, all I need to do is I need to tag the 2 with a $sign, and I need to tag the 39,907 with a $sign. And if I make that tick, and then if I drag that formula down, you can see that it's all the way down. It's A2, A39,907. So now all I need to do is I need to change the end of the formula so that instead of it always looking for January, it looks for the different months. So now you can see that my month is equal to 1, which is January here. My month is equal to 12, which is December here, and it changes as we go through. Now just looking at this data that's come up, you can see that it certainly changes for some months compared to others. To allow us to better visualize this data, we can change it into a column chart and see how our data looks. I'm going to choose all the data that I'm interested in, and then I'm going to insert a column chart, give my chart title a meaningful name, and now you can see that my data is showing some sort of pattern. If I go into one of these formulas, and as I said, the minus minus is simply saying change this true into the number 1, I can change it by making it 1 times, and you can see that the same value appears. So you can do it either way, but I'm happy with it staying as the minus minus. Okay, your task now is to try and replicate what I've done in this tutorial, and also find out what's going on and why the koala admittances in August, September and October are over double the admittances for February, March and April. You might have to ask Dr. Google for the answer. So go ahead and do that, and I'll talk to you in the next tutorial.